not that long ago, and we don't normally do things about this time of day. But I thought it very important. I had a conversation with Police Commissioner Ramsey over the weekend, as well as District Attorney Seth Williams. As it turns out, because of the change in time, the DA is not able to be with us. He has some personal matters to attend to. I do have a message from him, and I'll share that with you in a second. I'm joined, of course, by Police Commissioner Ramsey and also Solomon Jones, who, of course, wears a couple different hats. One working with Congressman Fattah, but is also a very well-known and well-respected writer and journalist. He had a piece that I read somewhere in the last day or so that I thought was a very clear and strong message, and I thank him for being with us. Let me also make reference to, I know that a little while ago some of you may have received a statement from me with regard to Lana Felton Gee. I knew Lana for a long, long period of time. She was a great public servant and a businesswoman, served in a number of administrations in a variety of capacities, and we, as a government and public servants, certainly mourn her loss, and I am very saddened by her passing, and pass on to Jimmy, as a former Philadelphia police officer, and their family our deepest condolences. In addition, yesterday we know that we also lost a great, great person and public servant, Judge Anthony DeFino, who was so well known around here and so highly respected and recognized. Just a great manner about him. I fortunately was never in his presence in his official duties, but saw him literally on the apron here thousands and thousands of times. Wonderful personality, always quick with a smile and laughter, something positive to say. And this tragedy that we've experienced yesterday with his death in a fire is painful. To his wife, we wish her a speedy recovery, but Judge Anthony DeFino was really one of a kind. For this particular moment, we're here today to address an issue which has received a pretty decent amount of national media attention lately, and this is people randomly assaulting innocent citizens in public places. Reports of these types of incidents have come out of cities like New York, most recently in Brooklyn, Chicago, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Syracuse, St. Louis, Hoboken, New Jersey, and possibly here in Philadelphia. I thought it important to address this particular issue in a straightforward manner. We've not seen significant activity in this regard. On the other hand, I'm not going to ignore the fact that some people, whether they're here or not, but as sometimes unfortunately these things spread across the United States, and certainly with social media and the ability of people to even film some of this stuff and put it up on the various social media outlets, I thought it important to send a strong and clear message to both young people, adults, and parents alike. First and foremost, this is disgusting and inexcusable behavior, and it's not a game. You can seriously injure or possibly even kill someone with this kind of activity. It's also a very serious crime to assault someone. The Philadelphia Police Department and the District Attorney will, I can assure you, treat it as such. As we've seen on the various news accounts, many of these attacks have also been caught on video by surveillance cameras, some outside of businesses, some in the subway or in other public transit agencies. As SEPTA has indicated in a news account somewhere in the last day or so, the SEPTA system has numerous cameras and that video has been very, very helpful in a variety of crimes. Even before this current rash of stupidity has broken out, we've benefited from SEPTA's surveillance system. This type of video evidence, of course, makes it easier for law enforcement to catch perpetrators. And make no mistake, we will catch you and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Let me now read you a message that I received from the DA. Again, he was, originally we were planning to be a little earlier, but I got back a little late from Harrisburg today. The DA sent this message to me about 20 minutes ago. Please feel free to share with everyone that I am willing to cooperate with you and Police Commissioner Ramsey to prosecute these knuckleheads to the fullest extent of the law. Perpetrators certainly can be charged with a wide array of criminal offenses, from simple and aggravated assault all the way up to third-degree murder, should their violent behavior result in a tragic incident. Make no mistake, the City of Philadelphia is taking these attacks very seriously. For example, an attack occurred on November 11th on Veree Road, and it made local news. The Philadelphia Police Department has made 2 arrests in that case already. We have a very simple and straightforward message. If you're thinking about engaging in this kind of behavior, don't do it. Stop and think about what you possibly are about to engage in. To parents, I'm asking you in a most straightforward fashion, talk to your children about what's going on across the nation, and if even we've had an incident or 2 here in Philadelphia. Nonetheless, have that conversation that, again, this is not a game. You can seriously injure or possibly kill someone. Your child's life will be dramatically changed, and probably yours as well, as a parent. And so let's cut out the nonsense. There are many other things that people can do to enjoy themselves. This is not one of them. This is not a game. This is not fun. It is serious, and you can seriously hurt someone and damage yourself in the process. This kind of bad decision-making certainly has significant repercussions that can last a lifetime. And so not to mention the fact that, of course, unfortunately, you're also hurting another human being for no reason at all. There's no excuse for this kind of behavior. It will not be tolerated here in the city. We will do everything we can to both prevent, but if someone does engage, we'll catch you. You'll be prosecuted. Your life will be changed dramatically. Let me ask Police Commissioner Ramsey to add his comments.
Thank you, Mayor. The Mayor pretty much summed it all up. Aside from just not being very smart to do something like this, it is criminal. We do take it very seriously. When asked exactly how many cases we've had here, it's very difficult to say because these kinds of incidents are classified as either simple assault or aggravated assault, perhaps even robbery. So you have to kind of manually go through. But there have been a handful that could fall into this category of crime. And again, we're aggressively pursuing anyone who may be responsible for such an act. As I said before, it's occurred in other cities. We suspect it's occurred here, but to what extent, I really don't know, but I do know that it's not something that is that widespread, but we're trying to prevent it from becoming widespread by taking action at this point in time.
Commissioner, thank you. I did ask Solomon if he'd like to say a few words, but as the good writer that he is, he felt that his words speak for themselves, and his message has been communicated. With that, I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that you might have. Stu?
Mayor, you design a strategy against an act that is, by its very essence, random.
Give me the first part of your question. Have I?
How do you design a strategy to prevent something that is random? Where do you look for it?
It's not so much that. I think what we're trying to communicate is, don't be an idiot. We haven't made a law yet that can really prevent that. What we're doing is acknowledging that whether it's here in Philadelphia or, again, this is a bit of a national phenomenon that we've not seen much of here in the city. And so this is really more of a preventative kind of message out to the community. We know what's going on. We're aware of these kinds of activities. We're putting you on notice that there will be severe consequences. And so as idiotic as this behavior is, sometimes if you repeat a message enough times, it can penetrate the dullest of minds. We're trying to communicate to folks up front and early, don't do it.
I know, Mayor, when you guys had the issue with the kids, you call it flash mobs, whatever you want to call it, there was a designed, outreach specifically through the school system. Is it at this point where you feel something like that is warranted to send a message directly to kids?
No, I mean, I think as Stu pointed out, I mean, this is the most random of things. I mean, it's like, when something's so random, it is almost impossible to prevent it. The issues that we had a couple years ago, we sought to address in, again, a pretty carrot and stick kind of fashion. We said, hey, we are going to provide more activities, and we should have, and we have, and we've enhanced that over time. Knock on wood a little bit. I mean, we've really not seen that kind of behavior. I'm not trying to jinx myself. At the same time, we sent the same very strong message right out on the sidewalk around the corner, I guess before Dilworth was torn up, with myself and the police commissioner and the DA and community groups and the like. I think that was that kind of behavior, and this is really something else. I think what the last part that I didn't mention is just really asking the general public, quite frankly, be more aware, pay attention to what's going on around you. What we seem to glean from some of these instances is that people who might be talking on their cell phone or otherwise distracted or not seeing what else is going on around them, some of these punks might try to take advantage of that kind of person. But, I think we're kind of all collectively putting our antenna up, asking folks, if you see something, say something, pay attention to what's going on around you. Try not to, kind of be in isolated, areas where no one else is around. You might want to alter your path to some extent, but, again, it is random. It just happens. You never know what's on somebody's mind. You never know when someone's going to do the next dumb thing. But for many, I think hearing the message, us acknowledging what the issue is, and clearly trying to articulate to the public that there are serious ramifications, some will stop. Some will never start. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, how do you differentiate between an unprovoked random attack and a so-called knockout game attack, as I guess was subscribed to the November 11th in Northeast Philadelphia? How do you differentiate?
I don't necessarily know that I need to differentiate. It's an assault. An assault is an assault is an assault. I'm not going to get into the word games. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Hitting someone else randomly in a physical way that hurts them is an assault. Plain and simple. And you have no right or reason to do something like that. And if you do, you will pay a price for it. You will be prosecuted. You will spend some time away. And so I'm not going to get into the semantics of, well, this was about this and this was about that. Physically assaulting someone is a crime. If you commit it, we're going to find you, you'll get arrested, you'll be prosecuted, and more than likely go to jail. Yes?
Question, Commissioner, we have thousands of assaults every year. Why are we targeting these? Why are we targeting, especially since we have no significant activity?
Well, first of all, we target them all. But what we would like for you as members of the media to do is hopefully get parents to talk to their kids. If you go back to the flash mob phenomenon from a couple of years ago, most of the kids we arrested had no previous record. They get caught up in that groupthink mob type stuff, and they do things that some of them might not normally do. It just takes somebody to say, whoa, think about what you're doing here, because it is a crime. People have been struck, they hit the head on the sidewalk, they wind up with serious brain injury, they could die. I mean, there are a lot of things that could happen that could change your life forever, as the mayor said. So one, we need people to think about that. Two, we do pay attention to social media, and there are some keywords that have been used around these things, just like with flash mobs, so we do pay attention to that sort of thing. Looking at what's happened in other cities, This has been mostly school-age kids, so we've had some conversation around making sure that this whole thing is, again, brought up and discussed in school, where kids know that this is the kind of behavior that's not going to be tolerated at all, and they need to really just slow down and not do the copycat type stuff, because it's happening somewhere else. And you know, I'm a little old to know what's cool nowadays, but obviously this is something that some people kind of think, for whatever reason, is the thing to do. It's just not very smart, to say the least, but it's also very damaging and can profoundly change your life as well as the victim of an assault like this. So we pay attention and target all assaults. Whenever you have a little nuance like this that's getting a lot of press and publicity, that's why we're here now, to encourage parents, talk to your kids. Pay attention to what they're doing, who they're hanging with. Don't get caught up in this group thing, because that's what happened with those flash mobs. And I was actually surprised, because I thought these would be our normal, you know, thugs and kids that get in trouble all the time, but it was just the opposite. Most of them that we arrested during the flash mob situation were first-time arrestees. And I don't know if that's the case with this, but I'm just saying that sort of group think in a negative way can happen.
Commissioner, Commissioner, the attack on November 11th, the two people that were arrested, did either of them say explicitly they were playing a game, playing this game, knockout game?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
Are they juveniles, both of them?
One's 15, the other one I think is 17. But they were all young school-age kids. Well, it was outside of a pizza shop or something, and I mean, I've got the general of it, but they didn't like confess that this is part of the knockout game. But it's one example of where it was an unprovoked attack. It was, you can assume that perhaps it was part of that, could have been something else. We've not seen anything yet where some of these, in New York I know, they've had a couple instances where there's a group of 4 or 5, somebody is filming it and saying, oh, you just got knocked out, or oh, you just got what, so and then they post it. We've not seen that. The video you saw was just a regular camera that caught an individual being punched, but you didn't get the conversation, and it wasn't part of the group doing that sort of thing. So I don't know if there's any particular one pattern across the country, but it's just something that is random in nature, but also very troubling, because it is so random, and just innocent people being struck for no reason at all.
While it's random in its nature, it's a lot of hate crime, the word hate crime, and race has been attached to it. Are you guys looking at that as well?
Let the Commissioner respond to that. I mean, again, we look at all the crimes in the city. And if something were a hate crime, I mean, that's an additional charge. But, you know, our primary focus and responsibility here is to try to make sure that citizens are safe. I think if you get assaulted, you're not going to feel any better if you're African American if another African American hits you versus a white person. Hit is hit. You bang your head on the ground, I don't think you're really thinking about, you know, what the color was. That's for us to, you know, kind of sort through, and that goes to motive and a whole bunch of other factors. What we're focused on is you assault somebody in the city, I don't care if you're purple, you're going to get prosecuted and you should go to jail.
If during the course of the investigation we uncover a motive that is racially motivated to a point where it could be considered a hate crime, we'll present all that to the district attorney and for their consideration in terms of charging. The Veree Road situation was, you know, white victim, white offenders. We've had all kinds of mixtures here, so it's just not easy to say that this is the motivation. Stupidity could be the motivation, it had nothing to do with race. But should we find that because of gender bias, because of sexual orientation, because of race, any kind of bias at all, and we uncover that during the course of an investigation, we will present that as part of our investigative packet to the district attorney for their consideration of the appropriate charges.
Commissioner, are you working on any other cases now that may not have been out there in regards to?
You mean regarding this?
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of. Some of this stuff we got to hand search, because again, it's either simple assault or ag assault. One we found that we thought, and it was a robbery. He punched a guy in the face, but he took the smartphone. Smartphone thefts is a huge problem for us here in Philadelphia. So how much of this is this so-called knockout stuff versus just outright robbery, again, makes it a little bit difficult. But We just don't want to start a trend here that's reflective of what's going on elsewhere. And so parents, please be aware, pay attention, talk to your kids. Don't let them get caught up in this group think because it'll screw them up.
Thanks a lot.